Wow, this COVID-19 thing, it seems to have awakened dormant, recessive, antisocial hermit genes. You know, life's all about trivia. Little bits of truth in themselves mean nothing, but in the context of an experience means a lot. Take, for instance, 18th century. To touch someone's facial hair was an invitation to fight. Who knew? 50 years from now, half a century away, you will be like me. Grandchildren, maybe great-grandkids, will be gathered around you, and you will be reminiscing trivia about the pandemic and about how George Floyd had changed the world. Here's a bit of trivia for you. That guy that beat Dan Gable, you know that guy that beat Gable? What does he and I have in common? We've got something in common. Yeah, I know what we don't have in common, but what do we have in common? Well, my ever-competent assistant coach, Glaudel, suggested this year that we not do the duck hunting trip again, that maybe we just do something simple and go to Triple P's for our preseason meeting. And I thought that sounds real good. So we're at Triple P's. Coach Troy is there. It's always good to see his energy and experience. Coach Magnifici was back from a great honeymoon over in Europe. We even had a new coach stepping in this year, as you know, Brian Bars. As a head coach, it's my job to find the strengths and the weaknesses of each of my assistants and place them in the proper places. It's obvious his strength, 3-time state champ, athlete of the decade in Sauk Valley. So, you know, the good stuff was easy. The hard stuff, you know, what I got to be careful of with him, that happened the first away meet. I'm driving the bus and I pulled it up to the school, and as he got out of the bus, he just started shaking and went into a cold sweat. I guess I parked too close to a flagpole. Anyway, we're at the meeting and everything is going pretty good. We're kind of discussing changes that we want for the year. And all of a sudden, Megs jumps up. And I swear to God, less than half a second. And Troy was up there right next to him holding his arm back like, what's wrong, what's wrong? And he's scouring around looking for, you know, where's the danger? What's going on? And Meg says, I've never seen that before. That lady that just came in, it's amazing. I've never seen anything like that. And we're all going, what's he talking about? Her hair. I've never seen hair like that before. I've got to go to her. And just then Bar stands up and he grabs him, you know, with his left hand and holding him back. Dude, what are you talking about? You just came back from a great honeymoon. You know, you've got a beautiful wife. We in a bar and you're going to go check out some chick? What's wrong with you? And Megs, he's just fixed. I've never seen the guy so focused. And he's saying, I've never seen anything like that. I've traveled the world over, and I've been all over the United States. I've never seen anything like that. That hair is just amazing. I've got to go touch it. And, you know, I'm just, whoa, dude. Don't get so excited. I'm looking, and I had a hard time getting past the tattoos and the piercings, much less to see the hair. You know, it's just one of those typical 3-tiered, you know, fuchsia, green, blue, you know, grandma blue, for God's sakes. So anyway, he just rips his arm away and just goes running to this gal. And I got to give him credit, because once he got there, he slowed down. It looked like he had his decor back. He was being very polite, talking to her a little bit. And she's kind of hesitant a little bit. And she says, well, okay, I guess. And so he starts reaching out. And he touches her right there. You know what? I've never been kicked out of a bar before closing time. But that fight that erupted right there was just unbelievable. And let's just say, the whole year was like that. A year like no other. And let's just leave it at that. I'd like to thank the wives for, you know, sharing their husbands with us in the wrestling program. I'd like to thank Karen Tunick, the senior mother that took charge of organizing the workers for our home meets, for disseminating information, for meets and tournaments to the parents. That job is open. As you know, we had no juniors on the team this year, so we won't have a senior mother, as far as I know. So that job is open to anybody that would like to take it. That's to help organize the workers. First award I'd like to give out today is the Darrell Holbrook Award, which goes to somebody that is behind the scenes, somebody you usually don't think about. And you know, when you think about wrestling, you're always thinking about food. You know, and Beth Summers, who is the recipient of this award, has gone out of her way to make sure wrestlers have proper diet that they need. I've even talked to former wrestlers that want to come back and still have her chicken sandwiches. So to her, we'd like to give her the Darrell Holbrook Award for behind-the-scenes help. Next, we come to the schedule. You know, like all years, it's for all the havoc we had, it was pretty typical. We ended up with 2 wins as a duel, 26 losses as a duel, which isn't surprising when you only got 8 wrestlers. It's pretty hard to put out 5, 6 guys and expect to win a meet. Overall, though, if you look at wins and losses, we're right on par. We had 111 wins against 67 losses on the varsity level. And this is pre-state series. So those wins and losses will go up on the positive side. And if you want to see more trivia, such as takedowns and everything else, you can see our trivia manager, Coach Maggs. He's got all that info. I'd like to thank the girls that helped us with stats, Claire Glaudel, Allison Ruthhart, Sierra Williams, for the work they did. That's what gives us those stats that we cherish. Wrestlers look to that stuff. I'd also like to thank Miss Williams for her voice for singing the national anthem at our home meets. We had a manager this year, Jackson Schaubacher, and I'll tell you what, no one can snap a glove like Jax. Now we move on to the wrestlers. First, I'd like to start with the heavyweights, I guess, and we'll work our way down. We'll start with Garrett Williams. Garrett's first-year wrestler. Unfortunately, he spent most of the season trying to get over an injury that he suffered during football. Next, we have Aiden Langley. Aiden also fought a lot of illness, and we need to have him back next year for his wrestling knowledge and ability. Riley Westcott. We certainly wish the best for him in his future endeavors. And Riley, now that the quarantine is over, you're going to need a new pickup line for the women. Now we move into an individual that every coach I talked to said they'd like to have a whole team like this guy. I tell you what, it hurt to watch this guy run when we started the season. I mean, it hurt to watch him. End of the season, he was pretty good. You know, here's a guy that I have to, just on what he did, I have to give him the can of whoop ass, okay? I've never had a wrestler lose 30 pounds and never gain a pound back during the season. And I tell you what, that takes a lot of something. And a can of whoop ass is what it is. Michael was the Freshman Academic Award with 4.25. He also gets the award that, to me, is pretty special. Sorry if I choke up a little bit, but Jim McBride was the athlete that epitomizes Newman wrestling. Dedication, determination, pride. A kid with, average ability, but you know what? When he stepped on the mat, you better keep at it because he kept coming. And there was no stopping when Jim was on the mat. And this award goes for the Hustle Award. You know, a guy that never quit. A guy that would get a bloody nose, shove tissue paper in his nose and keep running. A guy that was spending not more time, but would go over to do his puking in the bucket and then get back on the mat and do his running. You never heard a complaint out of him, always a smile. That award winner, Michael Murray. Next we come to Jared Carney. Jared got the award for the most improved. If he would just believe that every opponent he steps on the mat with is Coach Maggs, he's going to kick some butt. He wrestled Coach Maggs with his heart and soul, and everybody else he just kind of, played turtle, ducked his head. If he comes out with the confidence, his ability's there. He's just got to trust in himself. Mason Glaudel received the Sophomore Academic Award with 4.16. Obviously, very talented individual, right up the top of the list on almost all the stats. Obviously, the conference feels he's a threat. They put him on second team, all conference, which recognizes the quality that he is. He just has to decide he wants to wrestle the whole match and do it. Next we come to Will Rude. Second team, all conference also. Probably one of the toughest weight classes in the state. 2 times he's made it to the blood round. And all I can tell him is time to find a tourniquet. And last but not least, we come to our state champ, Kyle Tunig. Been a long time coming, a lot of ability, and I think he kind of surprised himself this year when he finally put his mind to it and how easy it was and how controlled he was during most of his matches, almost all his matches, all but one, and I think he wishes he had that one back. He's a senior academic with a 4.38. He's the most valuable wrestler. He had the most pins with 24. He had the fastest pin with 13. The most takedowns with 80. And I think he ends his high school career with real close to 180 wins. He was selected, obviously, first team all conference. His ability, we're definitely going to miss. And in the trivia game, who is our mystery wrestler? Well, there's always been discussion, has already happened as to what will next year bring. I'm always hopeful. Everything looks good on paper. We've got a large group of freshmen coming in with good experience and the numbers, so it looks good that way, but you never know. We didn't have any juniors this year, so we could be a little shy on the seniors. Oh, where's my manners? Welcome, Braden Porter, to our wrestling room. He's no stranger to the room, but he will be joining us next year, which is a great addition. It seems to me the captain thing is wide open. I don't see anybody having dominance to becoming the captain. You need somebody that can push themselves as well as help pull the best out of their teammates. I guess probably the quickest thing or the easiest thing is to quote Monsignor Bales. Probably one of his homilies. I imagine the Bears were probably playing the Packers, and it was at 11 o'clock mass, and he wanted to get out of there. But he probably gave the best advice I've ever heard to give an athlete, and it's just simply no deposit, no return. That was his whole homily. He came up and he said, no deposit, no return. He looked at everybody and walked away. Wow. That's pretty heavy. So it's what you're willing to do to make yourself better is how the team and you are going to fare next year. My suggestion, get at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep every night. Eat good, clean food. When you wake up in the morning, take 1 to 5 minutes, just lay in your bed and do a little mindful meditation. Practice controlling your breathing. 7 seconds in, hold it for 4, exhale for 8. Get rid of all that stale air. Slow your breathing down. Concentrate on your breathing. Think about your breathing. Give at least 1 hour to doing something athletic to make you a better athlete. 20 minutes of aerobics, running, jumping rope. Do your 8-minute high intensity. Workouts, that's where you do one thing, for a minute, as fast and as hard as you can. It could be jumping jacks. It could be mountain climbers. It could be anything for 1 minute. Then take a minute off. Then find another calisthenic to do for a minute. Take a minute off. Do 4 different sets, and, that's 8 minutes. 8 minutes total, and you're done. And that gives you 5 minutes to cool down. That gives you 15 minutes to shower. And there's your hour. I also think it's advisable to do one good, unsolicited charity or kindness to somebody. Open a door for somebody. Anything. Just do something that helps benefit somebody else other than you. So you can look back and say, it wasn't all about me today. This person felt pretty good after I did that little thing for him. And end every day with a 1 to 5 minute meditation again. Think about your day. What'd you do? What was good? What was bad? What do you plan on doing tomorrow? And all I can say is before you lace up your strutting shoes, just make sure you put some time in with your whoop-ass practice socks. That way you can walk and talk at the same time. Back to the trivia thing. That guy that beat Gable? What did we have in common? What do I have in common with Larry Owen? It's the shirt. It's the shirt. I'm kind of debating whether I make this my championship match shirt, whether I put it in storage and wait just for championship matches. Back in the old days, I used to have a 3-piece powder blue suit that I used to wear only to the championship matches. And thank God we wore it out. What do we got now? 37 champs? Whoa, that's a ton, man. And you keep buying those damn sweatshirts that have the names on the back. I'll have to get one next year because it'll have Kyle's name on it. So I got to have that. Okay, then the next year, I'll have to throw that out because there will be somebody else that is a state champ, and that'll be dated. The only sweatshirt I've seen that I'd like to hang on to is the one that Mrs. Nancy Holbrook wears, and that has all the signatures. The kids have signed that sweatshirt. That's worth something there. So just remember, I'm getting older, and if you really want to make me laugh on Monday, you got to tell me the joke on Friday. And to be a little more, and I think everybody needs to be a little more like Kyle and spreading the love. That's it.